Hello and welcome back to the Abundant Living University. I'm your host, Glenn Ullman. Several weeks ago, I was fortunate to be invited to a seminar out in California, and one of the subjects discussed was Social Security. Of course, Social Security is in the news. This is an election year. Should we keep it? Should we get rid of it? Should we privatize it? Should we extend retirement benefits? But so few people really know how Social Security benefits are calculated, and in fact the history of the program, because it is fascinating. Social Security was established in 1935, and its benefit was simply to provide a base retirement pay to a retired worker. Now, when it was set up in 1935, the retirement age was set at 65. It was a great way to construct the system because does anybody know what the life expectancy was in 1935? No, it wasn't 70 or 75 or even 65. The life expectancy was 63. So essentially you had a system in which workers paid in, and the majority of those workers, because their life expectancy was 63, would die before they got benefits. Of course, modern medicine and antibiotics and better sanitation has allowed us to almost double life expectancy over the last 100 years. But even having said that, the system is still remarkably resilient. When it was first proposed in 1935, Social Security only paid benefits to the retired worker. Today, we pay not only to the retired worker, but the retired worker's spouse, any and all ex-spouses as long as they were married more than 10 years, children of retired workers if they're over the age of 65. In other words, you've retired, second marriage, have some younger children. If those children are below the 18, you get Social Security benefits for them. There are survivor benefits for children if you should die. And of course, we also cover through Social Security long-term disability. Now, what's really fascinating is that this dialogue today is, well, Social Security is going to go broke. Social Security cannot go broke. It's impossible. It's a transfer system. When I pay my payroll taxes, and just like every other worker does, if we pay our payroll taxes in October, those dollars pay benefits to retirees in November. Right now, because we have 2 workers for each 1 retiree, there's a surplus. In other words, every October, when the money is collected from the Social Security taxes, there is more money that needs to be paid out to November retirees. Where does that money go? Well, of course, it's spent by Congress. Remember back several years ago there was going to be a quote-unquote lockbox on Social Security? Impossible. It's a transfer system. So it's impossible for the system to go broke because essentially the only way for it to go broke is to not have anybody paying into the system. We know, according to the Social Security Administration, that the system will no longer be able to pay out, dollar for dollar, the benefits that we promised today in about 25 years. But how could we fix it? Well, it's very easy to fix. Taking the retirement age to 70 would keep the system solvent for over 75 years, which is the lifespan that the trust fund looks at. Or taxes on Social Security wages could be increased by 0.9% for the employer and 0.9% for the employee. Again, a 1.8% increase in taxes, or taking the retirement age to 70 would secure the system forever. I am going to include in the narrative to this video the way to get to the Social Security Administration website, where you can put in your personal information and it will give you what your benefit's going to be at age 65 or 67 or even 62 or 70. Obviously, in our planning practice, we focus on Social Security when it makes sense to take it, when it doesn't, when it's advantageous to wait, especially if there's a big age difference between spouses. All of those things are part of planning. But again, in this political environment, just want to remind you that Social Security cannot go broke. Fixes are pretty easy, but it's a fascinating system that's been in place for a long time and does supply, as many of you know, a very nice income supplement in retirement. As always, we welcome your comments. We look forward to speaking with you again soon.